After 5 years of relentless shelling, the rebels offered their unconditional surrender to the Imperium. They were ignored, and the shelling continued for another 5 years. All signs of life in the hive ceased after just 3, but the bombardment still continued for another 2 years. Hello everyone, this is your host Legend, and welcome back to my channel. To finish out the year, I got a nice and simple video of my thoughts on the best characters in Horde modes. Due to holiday celebrations, I didn't have a whole lot of time to structure this video, and as such, characters are not listed in any particular order. Also, I want to note, I no longer plan on doing a video on Guild Wars, since Nandi did something rather similar recently that still holds up well. The best way I'm going to quickly summarize Horde modes is that they are any mode that induces sustained combat through multiple waves of enemies. These are modes such as Survival, Legendary Release events, and Onslaughts. I will be choosing 5 characters from each alliance. Any mentioned character will excel at one or more of these traits. Sustainability, or their ability to stay alive, their ability to sustain allies, having powerful and or numerous summons, and the ability to eliminate multiple targets in one turn. With that out of the way, let's talk about some of the best characters for Horde modes, starting with Imperials. Starting the Imperials off strong is a familiar face, Secretary Marshal Tangita, who makes it here thanks to his numerous and decently strong summons. When all his summons are in play, not only do they make great distractions who can take a good hit for your main forces, but they also can prove vital to clearing areas of enemies. They may be weak in melee combat, but are decently versatile at ranged encounters. Combine that with Tan's ability to provide them with additional armor, and you got a force worthy of any battlefield. Up next we have Kariyan of the Custodes, yet another familiar Imperial, and his placement comes from his ability to not just endure damage, but dish out even more across multiple targets. The traits Martial Kata, Beast Slayer, and Parry already give reduced damage, an increased block chance, and one less hit taken in melee combat. But on top of this, he has amazing stats in the Resilient trait, ensuring he survives a normally fatal hit if he doesn't get overkilled. That last part can be a hindrance in some cases, sure, but this doesn't bring down his value in Horde modes in the slightest. And on top of this, his abilities that allow him to target multiple targets in one turn, and you have an amazing unit worthy of any Horde battle. The next Imperial is Demetrian Titus. This Ultramarine earns points in his ability to attack multiple targets and his sustainability. The former lieutenant, now captain of the Ultramarine 2nd Company, has a powerful passive that prevents him from being overkilled, allowing his Final Vengeance to be triggered, and if he kills a target with Final Vengeance, he is revived immediately. Although the effect of his passive triggers only once per turn, it is usually more than enough to prevent his death. Oh, but wait, there's more. On top of this, it will reactivate his active ability that, when used in the right circumstances, can eliminate any target adjacent to him. In these abilities, Titus finds perfect usability in almost any situation any Horde mode can throw at you. The 4th Imperial is Lord Marshal Varnan Dreir. As any good soldier of Krieg and the Astra Militarum is, he is extremely resilient in the face of any opponent. Along with his trusty steed, they easily sustain in battle and are joined by great summons. His ability to sustain damage comes from a mix of his passive ability Tough to Kill and the Resilient trait, with Resilient preventing his death from anything but an overkill, and Tough to Kill allowing him to regenerate health at the beginning of his turn and reducing the odds of a crit and its damage if it were to occur. His active ability allows him to charge an enemy, and when properly leveled, allows him to summon 4 powerful Death Riders into combat alongside him. As if this wasn't enough, a common occurrence in Horde mode is for units to die, which in Dreir's case allows any attack triggered by his active to pierce more armor, solidifying my reason for putting him here. The 5th and final Imperial, likely shocking no one, is Isabella, the Adeptus Sororitas Hospitalizer, with her strength coming from her insane ability to sustain her allies in a way few healers possibly can. Have you lost an Imperial character along with a couple Imperial summons? Fret not, for here comes Isabella and her active ability, which will revive all that of which was lost. Those revived will be put on low health, must be non-mechanical, and cannot make an act that turn. Does that low health part sound bad? Well, she has a solution for that as well. As long as the unit isn't mechanical and is adjacent to her, after they take any damage, they regenerate some health, which 9 times out of 10 prevents their death. She isn't a perfect solution to every situation, but more than powerful in a majority of cases. The first Xenos making my choices is Aleph-Null, the Canoptek spider of the Necrons, who fits 3 of our 4 criteria. Aleph has multiple things working in their favor, such as the living metal trait that allows them to regenerate 10% of their max health at the start of their turn, the mechanical trait and the Fabricator Claw Ray passive ability that allows them to repair multiple mechanical allies, and the Scarab Hive active ability that, when all goes well, will inevitably fill the battlefield with dozens of Scarab swarms. In the case of Aleph's death, they have the explosive trait, which allows Aleph to explode, damaging anything adjacent to them for 25% of Aleph's max health as direct damage. Next up is Grumble Snotflogga of the Orcs, for the sheer number of summons he brings to the battlefield. Like in lore, Groats mainly serve as meat shields, and no one knows this more than anyone who has used Snotflogga for more than 5 seconds. His Groats bring value to the battlefield no matter the circumstance. Need a valuable distraction? Throw a Groat at the problem. Some stupid space marine trying to ruin your crumpin? Get a Groat in their face. Want to taunt the Yumi into staying for more crumpin so your war boss has an even better wall? Hold them in place with one of those useless gits. I'm sorry, I had to do that. The middle of this pack of Xenos is Judh, the Kellermorph. She is a great member from our local Gene Stealer cult, and is ready to boost the morale of all those who worship the four-armed Emperor. Her devotion has seen her rise up to be an icon for those around her while they wait for the Star Children. She has no problem wiping out many of those who worship the false Emperor, and can prove hard to pin down and kill. Her active ability allows her to wipe out multiple targets with ease, and is replenished any time she returns to the battlefield after her death. The hypersensory abilities she has been blessed with allows her to dodge a great amount of damage and effortlessly return covering fire, all while leaving a convenient decoy in her place so that if she does die, she can return to battle to inspire once again. The 4th slot is taken up by Sho'syl. As a Tau fire sight marksman, he brings powerful sniper drones into battle that can not only protect him, increasing his sustainability, but also can deal a heavy blow to the enemies of the Empire. Although his health pool is rather small, his drones make up for this greatly, with them being great distractions, able to prevent damage to Sho'syl with their savior protocols, and proving to be powerful damage dealers with their ability to hit a target from range 4. On a smaller note, when he is paired with Tal allies, since every enemy he targets is given a marker light until the end of his next turn, his allies of the greater good deal 15% additional damage to the marked unit, allowing him to synergize even better with his allies. Finally, I undoubtedly have a bit of a more wildcard choice here, but still powerful, the Winged Tyranid Prime. This chittering unit is able to close the distance fast and dig into enemies with powerful bone claws. Its main power comes from being a command unit, able to summon a Tyranid warrior into battle on any free hex within Synapse range. Any unit with a Synapse trait will also allow this Xenos monstrosity to summon Hormagaunts into battle. With this rather easy way to trigger summons, it isn't surprising to hear it is capped at 4 Hormagaunts at the higher levels. But this doesn't matter, since these units are plentiful and are great distractions on any battlefield. And on top of this, one final merciless attack if slain by anything less than an overkill, and we got a unit capable of causing a great disruption on the battlefield. Our last set of 5 brings us to those aligned with the forces of chaos, starting with the Infernal Master Abraxas of the Thousand Suns, a faction aligned to the Chaos God of Siege. Abraxas is squishy, but makes this list thanks to his numerous and powerful summons that also allows him to hurt multiple enemies. In one good turn, he can summon up to 6 Horrors of the War to aid him and his allies in battle, with each one capable of dealing good damage to his enemies. The pink horror that starts the summoning chain is able to deal psychic damage, with the Screamers of Tzeentch that follow dealing massive amounts of power damage across multiple foes. Mix that in with his passive ability that buffs adjacent Chaos allies and their normal ranged attacks, plus giving additional hit to affected demons in melee combat, we got a character capable of helping helping to make the battlefield just a little more survivable. The second character I bring into the light of the warp is the Black Legion Terminator Angrax, who serves well to eliminate waves of enemies by simply being right next to where they spawn, a feat made easier by his Deep Strike trait. His passive Hateful Assault allows Angrax to deal 2 hits of power damage to any enemy that dares move away from him if they start their turn adjacent to him. Bringer of Despair. His active ability allows him to deal a massive amount of power damage to 2 enemies adjacent to him, and can trigger Battle Fatigue twice, which helps a lot against Imperial Guardsmen and some Xenos units. Thanks to the Terminator armor trait and generally decent stats, he also proves to be difficult to remove from the battlefield. The third choice in our Chaos lineup is the Bringer of Poxwalkers, Corrodius, a durable summoner belonging to the Death Guard. Aiding his allies with additional movement speed and injuring Psykers with his Contagion Aura with his Cursed Plague Bell is only the beginning of his kit, for with the ring of his bell comes a swarm of Poxwalkers. When used, his active ability summons them in upwards of 45% of all free hexes in his Contagion Aura, and upon their summoning, if they are in melee range, they immediately attack. Any non-mechanical unit killed by a Poxwalker finds themselves giving into the gifts of the Grandfather and joining the fight as a Poxwalker themselves. On top of this amazing summoning kit, like all those blessed by Nurgle, Corrodius is extremely tanky with a massive health pool and armor count that makes taking him down difficult. When Khârn needs more skulls, he calls upon his greatest champion, Khârn the Betrayer of the World Eaters. The Blood God is more than satisfied when Khârn is on the battlefield, for he has a great habit of claiming multiple skulls in one turn. Unafraid of any combatant, friend or foe, Khârn doesn't shy away from adding another to his kill counter. His passive ability gives him more than enough means to claim 3 in one turn. His active ability makes claiming even more skulls a cakewalk. And his final vengeance trait ensures that even when defeated, he will try to make you pay for the victory in blood. And when the battle is over, he never forgets the milk for the cornflakes. Wrapping everything up is the personal physician of Mortarion, Rotbone. This Plague Surgeon comes armed with 2 of the most potent healing abilities in the entire Tacticus roster, which effortlessly allows him to sustain his allies who align with the Dark Gods. Revitalizing Malignancy allows him to give a powerful shot of healing to any adjacent non-Imperial ally, with this effect being doubled for those aligned to Chaos. His passive ability ensures that even an overkill cannot weaken your lineup by giving a 75% chance once per turn to revive any overkilled Chaos unit that is adjacent to him. His ability to heal allies and himself via the healer trait also ensures that he has a way to sustain himself so that no ally falls in battle without the most extreme of circumstances. That wraps up this video and my final upload for this year. I hope you find it helpful in some way. I would like to read your thoughts on the top characters for Horde modes in the comments. I always find it interesting what other people have to say about the current meta. As always, I will leave links to helpful resources in the description, ranging from community tools to community Discord servers. I want to make a note that, for some abilities and characters, I've referenced Tacticus Codex, a resource made by Heartless Technologies, since it has a lot of helpful resources for the game, and I plan on making my first video for the new year about Tacticus Codex, so please keep an eye out for that, and I hope to catch you again in 2026. This is your host, Legend, signing off.